This film will run 15 minutes. In this quarter hour, within the United States alone, there will be over 300 motor car accidents. About 30 people will be seriously injured. And at least is going to be killed. For you see, there are 1,800 automobile accidents every hour. 43,200 accidents every day. Most accidents happen because the drivers involved have neither the space nor the time to avoid trouble. Space is simply an interval between 2 points of time. Don't get caught in the middle. You're probably a fairly good driver, no matter what you drive. But it is a mistake to think that all other drivers are your equal and will react as you would. Between being safe or being in danger depends on a space-time relationship that is constantly changing. The factors of space and time are dependent on speed. Your relation to other drivers. Your ability to react. And if you can't pay strict attention to the business of driving, you need that extra cushion of space. That added fraction of time. Let's assume you're an average driver. Just how much space will you need to avoid trouble? We'll demonstrate with a driver reaction braking test. A patrol car has been equipped with a device that will mark the pavement. First, when a signal shot is fired, and then again when the driver hits the brakes. The shot is his cue to react. We'll make a run at 30 miles an hour. 30 miles an hour may not seem fast, but we're traveling at the rate of 2½ times the length of the car each second, 44 feet per second. The driver reacts, brakes, reaction time, normal, 3/4 of a second. Flares will pinpoint the powder marks on the pavement. At 30 miles an hour, with the car traveling 44 feet a second, the time from signal to brake application took 33 feet. But then it required another 45 feet to brake the car to a stop, or 78 feet in all. Yes, 30 miles an hour is faster than you think. Obviously, this driver's too close. In trouble should there be a panic stop. So she drops back. "30 miles an hour should mean a following interval of 3 car lengths, or about 60 feet. Meanwhile, back on the desert, we'll run the same test again, this time at 50 miles an hour. That's 70 feet a second. Once again, good reaction time, slightly less than 3/4 of a second. But with the increase in speed, the driver traveled 55 feet before hitting the brakes. It took another critical 133 feet to brake to a stop. Reaction distance plus braking distance equaled 188 feet. In these tests, the brakes were in very good condition. Worn or faulty brakes or bald tires would add to these distances, and the addition could be fatal. Our driver was alert, anticipating a braking signal, whereas lack of sleep, illness, certain prescription drugs, or a few drinks would add to the reaction distance, and the result could be disastrous. Space is the cheapest insurance a driver can buy. It costs him nothing. And we always need extra space, because none of us can be alert all of the time. In bad weather, when the roads are slippery, when you can't see as well, slow down a bit. You may need that extra time, the more extensive cushion of space afforded by slower speeds. The space ahead is the easiest space to control under normal traffic conditions. What happens when you don't allow enough? To answer this question, we set up a special test near the famous Edwards Air Force Base, under official supervision. The California Highway Patrol has closed a 4-mile stretch of desert road. We'll photograph the test from many vantage points, including a special boom and a helicopter. The drivers are checked out. The briefing is over. The Highway Patrol sets the pace, 47 miles an hour. The cars, identified as A, B, C, and D, are roped together with a variety of following distances, ranging from 100 feet to only 30 feet. The signal for a panic stop. Now, let's see what actually happened. Prior to running the test, we had assumed D would hit C, C, B, and so on, to simulate a chain reaction collision. It didn't work that way. But then it doesn't on the highway either. The answers are never pat and predictable. C had lost its power. The mechanical brakes weren't enough, and it smashed into B. D, with only 30 feet to react, impacted C. A might have remained in the clear. The combination, however, of older cars, worn brakes, and varying reaction times trapped A in the forces of the moment. And all four met disaster. The ambulance and the fire truck move in. Are the drivers okay? The men are in fine shape. The cars are not. What can we learn from this test that demonstrates the dangers of following too closely? The average American car is just under 20 feet long. Here is a good rule to follow. For every 10 miles an hour, showing on the speedometer, allow a following distance of at least one car length, or about 20 feet. 2 lengths at 20, 3 at 30, 4 at 40, at 50 miles an hour, this would be 100 feet. Space behind you is harder to control. But try to avoid persistent tailgaters. At the first opportunity, change lanes. Let him pass. Space at the side is more difficult to maintain, especially in heavy traffic. But think in terms of having an escape route. Can you change lanes? Is there room to escape to the right or to the left? Can you avoid the opening car door, the jaywalker? Keep checking the situation and filing the changing information. The most dangerous and foolhardy violation of the space-time principle is passing on the hill you can't see over, or the curve you can't see around. Your escape route could be by the skin of your teeth. Yet, if there isn't enough space, escape could be permanent. You must be prepared for anything. Drivers are different. In every accident, the drivers involved had neither the space nor the time to avoid trouble. Could it happen to you? Most of the 300 motor car accidents that have taken place during the running of this film could have been avoided. Many of the 30 people who were injured need not have been hurt at all. and perhaps no one would have been killed. We're selling insurance, and the insurance is free. It is the insurance of space. Space to react, to take action. Space to stay out of trouble.